Good afternoon. Trevor has kindly asked me to share some of my knowledge, as it were, with you on waggler fishing. I'm not going to touch on things that Dave Stockton has already mentioned. I've learnt loads off of Dave over the years through going to Stafford Moor. He's definitely up there as one of the best. Him and Chrissy Haynes tore the place apart waggler fishing. You know, what he didn't mention was the float adapters he uses. I know he touched on them, but they are so strong, very, very important when you're bagging, having a strong float adapter. I have yet to find one commercially made that is as strong as the ones that they make out of these leader. I don't even know what they're made out of, but half a swivel and some tubing. Dave, maybe you can tell us what the tubing is you're using. The only thing I do different to Dave is the way I attach my hook lengths and the way I hook my pellet. I'm using the same floats, everything's the same. The way I attach my hook lengths, I use a little tiny link swivel. I don't know if you can see that there, and it's the smallest one I can buy. This allows me to have several different hook lengths set up. So then I just set one rod up with a 2 swan waggler, maybe one with a 3 swan waggler, and then it allows me to chop and change. I can be fishing a 6-inch hook length, 1 minute, change to a 12-inch hook length, 3-foot hook length. Sometimes I even start, or I have started tying all my hook lengths 3 foot now, because you know you can always shorten a hook length, but you can't lengthen a hook length. You know, I'm not worried about losing 2 foot off of a 3-foot hook length. If I need to use that 3-foot hook length at a foot, off comes the line, new loop goes on. You know, maybe now would be a good time to touch on loops. I always tie my loops with a Semo loop tire. There's my line. Make a loop, pull the loop through the loop twice. Should have put my glasses on, but hey ho. So now I've got my 2 loops. There's my Semo hook tire. I use the smaller pins for my finer pole rigs, you know, like pole rigs and hook lengths, and then I use the bigger ones for my waggler fishing. In one pin in one loop, another one in another loop, pull it tight. There you go, perfect loops every time. Trim that off and you're ready to go. I said I hook my pellets different to Dave and Chrissy Haynes. I just found it, for the amount of fishing, waggler fishing I do, I just found it too time consuming to be drilling pellets, using the right spaghetti. You know, I absolutely think it's a brilliant method, but for the amount of waggler fishing I do, for me, it's always 2 bands. This is something Pete Randall showed me, I don't know, years ago at White Acres. I've been doing it ever since. The reason for 2 bands, grips the pellet better, the pellet stays on much better. Plus, if you lose a band or a band snaps, you've got the option of having another band on there. Again, 2 bands on a piece of line on your hook length. Tie your loop in twice, same as when you're tying a loop on your hook lengths or whatever you want to tie a loop on. Now for this, I use this little tool, Preston Quick Stop thingy majiggy, I don't know what they call it. That goes in the loop that doesn't have the bands in. That allows me to pull down tight onto my pellets like that. You can put your loop wherever you want with that little tool. Obviously, I haven't wet the line because I didn't want to put the thing in my mouth with everything that's going on. Hope some of this has been of use to you. I mean, it's all pretty much of a much, really. It's confidence a lot of the time. I'm happy with the way I do things, so that's good enough for me. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe.